Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari and current chair of the Ecowas Authority of Heads of States and Government has called for the adoption of common strategy to tackle the security challenges facing countries in West Africa. President Buhari, who made the call while declaring open the 55th ordinary session of the Ecowas Authority of Heads of States and Governments at the Presidential Villa Conference Hall, Abuja, commended the giant strides made by ECOWAS in promoting good governance and peace in the sub-region. Magdalene Michael reports that the president called for intensified efforts to ensure sustainable economy to reduce poverty and sustain development in the region, considering the high level of interest attached to regional cooperation. The report.
Despite the progress made by the sub-region, series of challenges which has undermined the achievement of regional stability and well-being of the people has continued. Hence, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian president, said recent development had shown that the insecurity challenges in the sub-region could only be effectively tackled if a common strategy was adopted by member states.
We shall not relent in our efforts to protect our peace-loving people and their properties while vigorously sustaining the war against terrorism and criminality. Excellencies, heads of state and government, taking into account the transitional nature of the threats confronting us, the need for the adoption of a common strategy at the national and regional level to combat them has become imperative. We should send a strong and unified message to the perpetrators of violence that we are resolute in our collective determination to confront and defeat them.
In his remark, the Special Representative of the UN Secretary-General for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, commended the West African states for the progress made so far on the successful conduct of presidential elections. While the sub-region faces a number of challenges, the need to be accountable to the region is non-negotiable, even as the UN is committed to supporting the region.
Beyond the military approaches, more efforts should be made in addressing the root causes of violent extremism, terrorism, and other conflicts in the sub-region. In this regard, the establishment of the Lake Chad Governors Forum for Regional Cooperation on Stabilization, Peace Building, and Sustainable Development Interventions in the region affected by terrorist Boko Haram is a welcome initiative.
President of the International Criminal Court, Honorable Judge Chel Ebo Osuji, said the world expects accountability from the region as West African region must continue to protect the ICC.
The ICC is a court of last resort. In the first place, justice must be done at home by national institutions. The ICC is there to step in if justice cannot be done at home, but that should not be the default solution. It should be the exception that the ICC steps in. National courts retain their primary role under the Rome Statute, and for that reason, the ICC system encourages the building of capacity within the domestic jurisdiction.
High on the agenda for the meeting is the issue of security, intercommunal clashes, herder-farmers conflict, banditry, terrorism affecting all ECOWAS countries. ECOWAS 2018 Excellence Award were presented to some beneficiaries at the 55th Summit. In Abuja, Magdalene Michael reporting for Clearview Television.